Everybody, this is Jonathan Kirsting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council and Tech Vibe Radio, bringing you the Tech Vibe Radio one mic stand, where we get to tell some of the cool, fun, breaking news happening in Pittsburgh's technology sector. And one of my favorite companies in Pittsburgh's tech sector is Bit by Bit, a digital forensics company that just does work that blows my mind. And Susan Ardisson started it almost 14 years ago, which is something I was thinking about 14 years ago, the beginning of the big recession we had. Now we're just going through the whole COVID thing. They've built this company to be a really terrific company through the ups and the downs. And now they're actually announcing some new leadership with John Unice taking over as CEO. I just can't wait to learn more about what this transition means, and more importantly, how they're going to keep growing and gain a national footprint. So Susan and John, thank you for being part of our show today. So great to catch up with you guys, and happy 2021. So quickly, Susan, let's just start with some introductions. Give us your background real quick and what inspired you to start Bit by Bit. And then we'll jump in with John. He'll talk about how he just joined up with the company not so long ago.
Well, as you mentioned, we started back in the days of the last recession, 2007, and really the springboard for the company was the lack of companies that could do what we were envisioning. And the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure had just been amended in 2006, which governed the use of electronic evidence in federal courts. I was a lawyer. My husband, who subsequently joined the company, was a lawyer and saw this as an opportunity that lawyers were going to need some help in doing this. One, in collecting evidence, two, on the forensic side. So that was really the beginning of the idea. We just kept pushing on. Back then, it was a brave new world. The information that was rapidly developing, what we needed to learn about, what we needed to help our clients with from law firms and their clients was constantly changing. And it was a really exciting time. And of course, we did have the recession to go along with, but when you're brand new, you don't fall back much. You can only really go forward or fail. And, as many have said, failure was not an option. We started, Brett Creasy, our president now, was our first employee. And we kept building up the technical side and learning more about what we needed to do and developing a real niche, I think, in Pittsburgh and in the region. About what we could do. And the solid part of our company has always been the forensics, and that's been guided by Brett for the last 14 years. And that is, we talked about before, John, I think I've been on a program with Jamie Butcher and you a while ago about the trade secret theft. So we used to do a lot of analysis of those employees who would leave the company and take confidential information, whether with permission or not. And that was really a grounding of what we did, and testifying in court and really proving our mettle on that. E-discovery obviously flowed along. That was a natural companion of it. And as we're going now, and I know John will be talking about more, cybersecurity has become another strength of ours and an area that we're doing a lot in as well. So we just continue to evolve. And the last thing, which you probably know, we got the Allegheny County Bar Association's exclusive endorsement way back when in 2008, which really helped us establish and move forward with the company. So
brings total credibility, and you've had that every single year since then, which I think is pretty fantastic.
I don't know what we have to do for them to take it away, but
Absolutely. So John, I'm excited to learn more about your background, what brought you to Bit by Bit, and then obviously your evolution to becoming CEO.
Sure, Jonathan. Yeah, so I'm an attorney. I've been practicing law for just over 20 years. The first 10 years of my career were in private practice, a litigation attorney at outside law firms. And then the next 10 years, I was in-house counsel at large companies where I oversaw the litigation process for those companies and hired basically law firms to help us through those problems.
Gotcha.
When I went in-house, I started to actually oversee the tools and processes that Bit by Bit actually provides to its clients.
Well, that's cool. So you actually got to see your stuff in action when you were on the other side of the table there.
Sure.
Very cool.
Yeah. I started practicing in 1999, so the whole e-discovery realm really wasn't around then. And then midway through my practice, in my private practice, it started. So I used the rudimentary early tools as a younger lawyer, and then oversaw the use of them in-house counsel for the next 10 years. And then bit by bit, the opportunity came up late in 19 and joined in early 2020 as general counsel. And the transition really was great, even though we were on the verge of a pandemic. But as Susan had mentioned, the reputation of the firm, the way in which it goes about doing the things that it does, the way it partners with its clients. It's not a vendor, it's a service provider and a partner, and it always has been.
A good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, because it's a true partnership. When you work with somebody, it's not just this service you turn on, you get information. It's like you're literally working with them hand in hand.
Exactly right. So I joined as general counsel and vice president, and then the idea was, obviously as the company grew through the succeeding 8 to 9 months, to see how it went with the idea of succession planning in mind. And management was pleased with the direction of the company, Susan and Joe, Brett, and decided to transition on the CEO role then, at the end of last year.
Very cool stuff. And what a crazy year. Obviously, stepping into a new role like this. COVID's going on. That just increases the craziness around trying to get stuff done. But you guys continue to soldier on and keep making a great, really positive impact on and providing a much needed service, pandemic or no pandemic, as far as that goes. So I'm just curious, Susan, so what's it like now actually like staging back from something that you built over the past years? And obviously you're planning to do this. It's still got to feel a little strange to kind of like take your baby and be like, okay, it's yours now.
We were talking briefly before the show, this has been an ongoing plan for me for the last 4 or 5 years. And I worked with the local Pittsburgh group Women Presidents Organization.
Excellent.
So there was a lot of groundwork that we all discussed as women-owned businesses about what you needed to do. I'm 65, so I knew that, I wasn't going to stay around until I was 80. But as far as how it went, and because it was gradual, I think psychologically you're well prepared for it. And I think also, really, Brett has been taking a big laboring over the last 2 years. He became a partner about 4 years ago. And so as he increased, we knew we needed to find someone who would take on the lawyer litigation role, CEO role, because Brett's, championing the digital and the technical side of things. And when we got that email from John, we had posted a thing on LinkedIn, because I had known John just through some, work, not a huge amount of work with Covestro, but I met him on speaking panels and stuff. We were just, really pleased and taken aback. So in terms of, it's been a gradual process. I will say we introduced John through a party, on March 6th, I think it was, John.
Oh my goodness.
So we were all allowed to be together. And basically the very next week we were shutting down. But because we were designated an essential business, we could keep operating, although we did it remotely. So, I feel like, that leadership that we saw through a very, difficult time and continues to be a difficult time with John was simply amazing. And so not only have we not fallen back at all, we've, plowed ahead forward, which I'll let John talk about. But so in terms of, how I feel about things, how Joe, my husband, feels about things, we feel like it couldn't be better with him and Brett, taking on things. So
fantastic.
We're good.
Stuff. Yeah.
And I'm home. I'm not in the office.
Very cool. It's such a good story. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the future. So John, let's talk about that, because like I say, the work that you do, it has changed so much, and it probably keeps changing every day as far as that goes, because the threats are different, the technology is different, how that implicates legal stuff is just, I don't know how you stay on top of it. So tell us about the future. I know you're trying to get more of a nationwide footprint, which I think is exciting. You got some new products and services to be rolled out. Give us a little taste of what we can expect as we roll into 2021 and beyond.
Sure. So I'll take it maybe stepwise as far as our main service offerings.
Sure.
When we talk about e-discovery, we have in the 2 review platforms we offer our clients very strong analytical functions where artificial intelligence is embedded in these tools, and it helps attorneys find the relevant documents faster, more accurately, and ultimately cheaper for the client. So we have a special expertise in using these technologies and leveraging them. The old way of thinking is from attorneys, there's a human eye on every single document, and that's just not the case anymore. Susan mentioned the dawn of e-discovery when bit by bit started. Since then, there's been litigation in cases around whether or not technology is appropriate to use when discharging your obligations.
Okay.
And so one of our strengths, I think, are the people that we have running the tools and the actual tools embedded in our software, and helping our clients realize the true benefits to this. At the end of the day, they use us less in a way, but then they come back the next time because the process was efficient, was accurate, was on budget. So that's sort of one area of focal point for us. The other large one is in the forensics and the cybersecurity incident response space. Is those tools are always evolving as far as what you can actually recover and the tools needed to recover the the data out there. For example, there's different social media tools out there to collect the different platforms that people use. The tools in which we utilize to create images for mobile devices, and computers are always evolving. So we have really strong relationships with our technology partners, stay on top of those developments, and use those cutting edge tools to, again, speed the process, make it more accurate, make it more defensible. So that's another big focal point. And the third thing I would say, Jonathan, is being a more holistic provider of services. So in the past, we've done a great job of responding when called, but the idea is having
you get that terrible phone call in the middle of the night with like, we need your help. It's like
exactly right.
Raging,
and we do that every day. And last night we were doing it. But the idea that we have going forward is on the information governance part of our practice, advising clients upfront about where their data sits, how to preserve the data, how to store it, when to get rid of it, and have a more ongoing relationship with them. So if there's that call in the middle of the night, we already know the people, we know the systems, and know the tools. And so it's more of a holistic approach to the way we go about information governance and then ultimately forensics and cybersecurity.
Makes total sense to take that tact. I'm really excited to see how this grows for you guys in the coming years, because to get to this point now, I think it's just been so exciting for you guys. So as you move forward to 2021, what do you think would be some of your key challenges as we kind of navigate through the pandemic and get to a place where we can conduct business a little more as we maybe kind of used to, for lack of a better term?
It certainly has been a challenge, although I will say, given the uncertainty we're all living under and what I'll call sort of corporate chaos, in some ways, it actually makes us a little busier. So in the forensic space, people are leaving companies, they're working remotely, maybe doing things they ought not to be doing. And so the investigation work has certainly actually increased. On the cybersecurity space as well, with the remote workforce, some companies were prepared better than others, but people are distracted, they're stressed, rightly so, with the whole environment we're all living under. And so it raises opportunities for threat actors to breach networks and to take information and issue malware and those sorts of things. So I think into 2021, we're still in that environment. So I anticipate the forensic needs and the cybersecurity needs and the instant response needs will continue to increase, actually. And we're ready to support those. We have tools that can collect almost any source of data remotely. You don't need to have boots on the ground these days to actually collect phones and computers and email systems. And so we think that's going to continue. The real challenge really would be, I guess, e-discovery, given that's typically associated with lawsuits, and courts in various parts of the country are either operating partially or even shutting down. And so the challenge there is to get through that part of the business and increase sort of that workload. I think that's going to loosen up as courts come back online. But that's something we're looking forward to doing. We're ready to do it. We have the tools and people. So I would say that's sort of the biggest challenge for 2021.
Fantastic stuff. I mean, all the way around, I'm just completely stoked for the company. I'm stoked for you, John, and for Susan, building to this point and then being able to step back a little bit and watch this thing continue to grow. I think it's just it's a cool success story happening right here in Pittsburgh, and a really cool industry that I think is really at the very beginnings, and you guys are well on it to keep evolving and growing as this happens. I can't thank you guys enough for taking the time to fill us in on what's going on with it, because I know all of our listeners and our members of the Pittsburgh Tech Council are super proud of your work, and they're stoked 100%. So we'll leave it at that. And if you want to learn more about Bit by Bit, and they should be thinking like, maybe I should be a little more proactive and start thinking about, how can I start working with you guys? What's the best way to reach out for you guys?
So there are many ways, but our number at the office is 412-325-4033, or bit-x-bit.com is our website. Of course, I could provide my information as well if you'd like that.
Absolutely. We'll put that in the liner notes for the podcast part of this as well, too. And I can't thank you guys enough for being part of the Tech Vibe Radio One Mic Stand. This is Jonathan Kirsten with the Pittsburgh Technology Council and Tech Vibe Radio.